There we are. Hi, everybody. I'm Ricky Heller from rickyheller.com. And tonight I have a really special guest, Amie Valpone, a blogger friend of mine who writes the blog, The Healthy Apple. And Amy's blog is full of delicious, gorgeous, allergy-friendly desserts. And you'll look at her recipes, and most of the time I look at them and I just can't even believe that these are allergy-friendly. So, because they're just so gorgeous, beautiful photography, great recipes. And Amie is based in Manhattan, and she's also she coaches people with allergies, and she has a new book coming out in March 2016, which I'm very excited for. So, Amie, welcome, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that too.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Ricky. I started this whole journey when I was 25 years old. I had no idea. I thought I was eating healthy, and I really had no idea what healthy was. And long story short, my health story is ridiculously long, as Ricky knows. I've been to Mayo Clinic getting numerous bone marrow biopsies. I was on steroids, painkillers, water pills, and on disability from my job at the age of probably 26. I literally exhausted every hospital, even the cancer hospitals in New York City, in my 20s, and ended up with C. diff colitis, was given 24 hours to live 4 years ago. Quit my corporate job and started to figure out what was going on with my body, because these drugs were not fixing the problem. And Mayo Clinic, who's supposedly the best of the best, was telling me that I was crazy and nothing was wrong with me. And so what I really did from that point on is read every single detox book imaginable, literally every book on the market, and started working with some of the top integrative medical doctors in the country. I also went back to school to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition and got my degree in integrative medicine to try to understand what was going on. So I'm not a medical doctor or a registered dietitian, but I am a nutritionist. And I have learned throughout the years that now Candida has been one of the biggest causes of my entire, oh my gosh, now I look back and I think I was born with Candida. I think my mother gave it to me. I think she said she ate pizza a lot when she was pregnant with me. And, all the studies are coming out now that, the mother can pass Candida on to the child. So I think that my mother gave it to me because she said that when I was born, I came out of her colicky, and meaning like tons of gas, distended, tons of stomach pain. And she said I was like that, always crying, always in stomach pain as a baby. And then I was always sick as a child, with stomach problems. But I was, a healthy kid, and getting upper GIs, lower GIs, colonoscopies as a child, and even in my teens. And they never found anything, of course, right? With all of us, they never find anything wrong. So you really think you're nuts. But it wasn't until, I guess, last year that I really started to dive more into the Candida thing. And 2 years ago.
Second, so you also, you were diagnosed with Lyme first, right?
So 2 years ago, that's when I started to dive really into the Candida thing. So the Lyme was false negatives for over 10 years. And 2 summers ago, it was like right around this time, July, I went to a Lyme specialist, integrative Lyme specialist, and they found Lyme. And they thought, since half my organs were already shut down, they figured I pretty much had Lyme for a few years already somehow. And I started something called the biofilm protocol. So I don't know if anyone knows what biofilm is, but it's kind of like this jelly. Think of it as like a jellyfish. So when you look at a jellyfish, or like boogers or any kind of gel, it's goo, right? So Lyme disease and pathogens and bacteria and parasites, all these crazy things get caught in the biofilm in our bodies. And we all have biofilm. There's biofilm on everything. There's biofilm in our eyes, in our ears, in our, every area of your body. There's biofilm on our vegetables that we eat, on the table, on the computers. There's biofilms everywhere. So you really can't do without biofilms. But what happens is when these bad bacteria get stuck in the biofilm, none of the antibiotics and none of the protocols can break through the biofilm. So that's why antibiotics don't help a lot of people, because they can't penetrate through. So you have to break down the biofilm. So I tried the biofilm protocol 2 summers ago, and I ended up in bed for 2 months. And I I mean, it was the die-off, meaning killing the bugs, was so bad. I literally had to go to my parents' house and have them help me. Like, I could not even, I lived in an Epsom salt bath. It was so bad.
And I know that, sorry, I'm going to interrupt you there for a second.
Yeah.
I know that biofilms are a big part of Candida too, but I wonder if you could tell people, like, what were your symptoms in the past few years that got you to that point where you were in your parents' bedroom? Like, what are some of the things that led to that diagnosis, and how were you feeling before you found out about that?
Yeah, so, I mean, I've always felt okay. I never thought anything was even wrong with me. I never would have thought I had Candida. I've never had a yeast infection in my life, and people attribute Candida, which is yeast, to yeast infections. And if you never have a yeast infection, you don't think you have yeast. And I had no real side effects of yeast or symptoms of yeast. But all of a sudden, I stopped being able to eat anything with starch in it. I couldn't handle anything. My body would react about 24 to 48 hours later. I would literally swell up. So if I had like a non-GMO organic rice cake, 24 hours later, my body would be like the Michelin tire man. I mean, it was ridiculous. So that's when I started to put things together and realize, oh my gosh, what's going on here? I can only eat like protein and vegetables, not even the starchy vegetables. So that was the biggest trigger for me, like the light bulb moment. And, I had to stop the biofilm protocol 2 years ago to work on my Lyme, but I went back on the biofilm protocol this January, February, and again, I was in bed for all of January, February, and that's how much die-off I had. I literally could not get out of bed. Nausea, dizziness. I mean, I literally could not function. I did not leave my bed. And I'm like, how is there this much in me? Like, I'm not even sick. Like, and then I was like, where is all of this coming from? Like, it was just amazing. I mean, I'm like this little person. Where is all this coming from? So I started to feel better. The die-off stopped, I guess, around March, the first week of March. And since then, I've just been I rotate my antifungals. So I'm sure you do too. I do it every 4 days. So oil of oregano, grapefruit seed extract, Pau d'Arco tea. I do the Candibactin AR, Candibactin BR from Metagenics. I do Designs for Health GI Microbe X, which kicks my butt still. I still have die-off in that. I can only handle one of those. It has wormwood in it.
Can you know what's in that?
Yeah, I have it over here. Do you want me to get it for you and read it? What's in it?
Oh, sure.
I can grab it. Hold on. Let me get it.
Okay, sure. And I just want to say, while she's doing that, not everyone who has Candida has yeast infection. So there are actually all kinds of Candida.
See my apartment? You can see all my supplements. There's my whole protocol. Like, everything is kind of listed. So
I'm just telling people that, Candida, the fact that you didn't have yeast infections isn't necessarily a sign that you don't have Candida, right? Because Candida manifests itself in so many different ways. So I think it's important for people to know. Yeah.
Definitely. So this is tribulus extract, sweet wormwood, magnesium capryllate, berberine sulfate, grapefruit extract, barberry extract, bearberry extract, and black walnut extract.
Okay.
So I do this, and then I do the allicin, the garlic, and I do caprylic acid and Saccharomyces boulardii and Interface Plus. So that's part of my biofilm that breaks down my biofilm. Yeah. But now, I mean, I could not handle one Interface Plus 2 years ago every week. I couldn't handle one a week. That's how bad I was. Now I'm on 3 a day.
So it just goes. The Interface Plus, is that an enzyme?
That breaks down your biofilm. So
yeah. Because I know, nattokinase.
I recommend, no one should be doing this on their own, because this has EDTA in it. So if you have heavy metals, you're pulling out all the heavy metals in your body and circulating throughout your body. Yeah. So I don't recommend anyone doing that by themselves. Any of this, I don't think needs to be.
I'm going to stop for a second there. That's an formulation pill that you were just talking about, the EDTA. And I actually had to do that initially when I was on a Candida protocol as well. I think I'm sorry, I'm creating an echo here. I think every time you get close to the. But anyway, EDTA, that's oral chelation. So yeah, you should absolutely be supervised by a naturopathic doctor, a functional medicine doctor, somebody like that.
Yeah, I don't recommend. I mean, now I feel like it's very easy, you know, the whole biofilm protocol or the whole antifungal protocol, but you need someone, like I have a very intensive schedule, and you need someone, also you can't be taking minerals. You can't eat minerals throughout the day. So at one point you're going to have to start to add your minerals in, because you're going to start, the EDTA is going to start chelating all your minerals. So you have to find someone who can help you figure out the right dose of calcium, magnesium, and zinc for your body and when to add those in. So it's so complicated.
We are not telling anybody to try this on their own. Absolutely
Yeah.
not. You need to be working with a professional.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, Ricky, you're amazing with all this. You know it too. I mean, I've heard so many different things for Candida, and everything's, you know, different. Everyone is affected differently. Some people can start with 3 interface a day. It really depends on how bad your biofilm is and how bad your yeast is.
And also, I just add, so that's one way to do it. That's chelating heavy metals too. But another thing that people do for breaking down the biofilms is they use enzymes away from food. I don't know if you're taking enzymes as well, but digestive enzymes, when they're taken on an empty stomach, act sort of like scavengers, and they will go and get things like precancerous cells. They'll just eat up those things instead of helping to break down your food. They're breaking down things like biofilms. So the one that I take is serapeptase, and another one is nattokinase. They're both really good for breaking down.
Yeah, I have both of those. I love those.
Yeah. Okay.
They're great. I do the drops of that. It's so great. Yeah. So those are 2 things that I do. And then I really had to start detoxing my life and taking all the chemicals out of my cleaning supplies, my beauty products, and my food.
So let's go one at a time. So first of all, with your food, and then I want to hear all about the cleaning supplies and your environment too. But let's start with the food.
Yeah, so I'm laying all this out in my book. So my book will be out March 1st. It's called Eating Clean, and it's showing people, I mean, it's over 200 recipes, you know, no gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, yada, yada. But it's also showing how to detox your cleaning supplies, your beauty products, and your food from toxins. Because our skin is our biggest organ, right? So if we are putting junk on our body, you know, even things that we thought were healthy, like Neutrogena sunscreen or Lubriderm or chapstick, you know, they're all filled with chemicals, so getting into your bloodstream. The same thing with tap water or shower water. If you don't have a shower filter, you know, chlorine is getting into your microbiome, into your gut, and affecting your thyroid and your gut health. So yeah, so I mean, my case is very different than a lot of other people's. It's very intense because I literally had chronic illness for 10 years. So I still have not added in any, I can't eat any starches yet. So I haven't been able to add in those. So my life is pure protein and vegetables and fat, literally. So it's nuts, seeds, oils. I just started adding in eggs 2 weeks ago, and I seem to be doing well with them, which is great. I haven't had eggs in like 3 years.
Wow.
But I was able to add nuts and seeds in last summer, which was a first in about 10 years. So that's amazing. And I do some organic chicken, organic turkey. I do really well with that. Even though I keep all of my blog and my book and everything is pretty much vegan, vegetarian, I have found that I don't do well with a lot of grains and a lot of roughage. So, I mean, I love vegetables, but I do best with like simple green vegetables and like literally it's like green vegetable, protein, and fat. Like that's my day.
I bet people who read your blog like I do and drool over your recipes are wondering, how do you create those recipes if you can't eat that stuff?
So I can taste it. I mean, I can have like a tablespoon of it, or I mean, a lot of it's like bowls, like Buddha bowls, or I mean, it's like quinoa or rice or, you know, whatever. So I can taste it. But I make all my recipes at my family's home, which is about an hour and a half away. And that's where I do all my photo shoots, all my recipe testing. So I make everything and line everything up on the table, and it's like boop, 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 and what does it need? What does it, you know, and then I can taste a little bit. I just can't sit and have a bowl of oatmeal or a bowl, you know what I mean? But I can taste as I go. And that's all you really need. I mean, when you're recipe testing, you're not eating the whole thing, you know?
But they must love you because they got all this amazing food from you.
It's funny. Yeah. So that's food. That's how I really, And everything I eat is organic. I don't do any unorganic food. So
Wow.
that's that. And then in terms of cleaning supplies and beauty products, I mean, I have a lot of pages on my website that show, you know, how to detox your cleaning supplies and beauty products and things to look for, things to take out, great products that I love that you can use. And I did the same thing in my book, more extensively in my book. I go through all the chemicals that you should avoid, like look at the list, different things like that. But I think for those, you really just have to say, I mean, parabens are a huge issue. You know, really just look for organic, pure brands. But again, even organic brands can have a lot of chemicals in them. So, you know, there's a few brands that I really love and trust, and I just, you know, just really stay very simple on the ingredient list. I mean, I don't use toothpaste anymore at all. I just use coconut oil.
What do you use toothpaste?
Coconut oil.
Just straight.
Yep. And a great way to take out brush in your mouth if you have candida brush is to mix coconut oil with oil of oregano and oil for that. So I do that. I learned that from one doctor, and then from another doctor, I use peroxide, and I use peroxide as mouthwash. So that was helpful for the candida thrush.
Yep.
Another thing that is really helpful, I thought, has helped me with a lot of the die-off is Epsom salt baths. That was really, an acupuncture has helped me tremendously because candida threw off all my hormones.
Right.
So, so that was a big help.
So if you could give people like one main tip if they're trying to clean, because you know, there's like you're saying, there's so many things in everything, every product you buy pretty much. So if you could give people one tip about it, something to start cleaning up their environment, and I'm talking about like the environment where they live, what would that be? Is there one thing that that comes to mind that you think would help people to get started?
Wow, one, that's hard.
Or just anyone that comes to mind. I mean, I know
would say in terms of food, I would say eat organic. In terms of your whole home, I definitely say your water, because your water goes on everything. You're washing your vegetables, so definitely getting your water purified, and your shower water, all of that, because I think that's so important. And then in terms of skincare and you know, cleaning products, you know, I've put some recipes in my book. I have some recipes on my website for cleaning products. Lemon juice is great. Essential oils. I love acacia essential oils. They're wonderful. I use a lot of those with lemon juice, and distilled white vinegar is great. So I do a lot of make my own, and I make my own beauty stuff too. I mean, I just wear mascara sometimes and maybe a little blush, but I don't put anything else on. I use organic Herbavia is my favorite deodorant brand. The spray, it's organic. I use them. I love their stuff, and I use their sunscreen as well. But coconut oil is a wonder. I mean, I put it like on the tips of my hair is pretty long now. Ricky's hasn't seen me since I think my hair was like here. But I'll take at night. I'll just like put coconut oil on the ends of my hair, and you know, for your split ends and all that. I also use coconut oil for eye makeup remover.
I use moisturizer at night before I go to bed.
Yeah, I put it all over my body. My skin is sensitive, so I have to be careful about like not breaking out, not putting it like too much oil here. But I definitely put it around my eyes, and then I put it all over my body. Like I get into bed and I'm like, oh my god! But it helps like my elbows, you know.
But you smell good too when you do that, right?
What?
It smells so good.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's great. And it's just a nice, I mean, I'll even put it on my ankle. Like in the summer, your knees and your ankles and your elbows get dry, or mine do at least, you know, from being outside. But I'll just put it on, you know, in all those areas. And yeah, I've just learned to, I mean, things are very basic here.
I think very basic is really important. I think we've forgotten that basic is really good, right? But so just quickly, can you tell us, and then I can add this later on to the notes, but what brand of water filter you like the best?
The water, you know, I don't remember the brand names. I have them on my website. I have a link to both of them, the shower filter and the one is Pelican. I'm not sure. The shower filter.
Your website, so that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so those are the ones that I use. I have a great alkaline water filter that I use that I love. I just was thinking last night laying in bed, I was like, I have to get a new filter. I mean, I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes I'm laying in bed and I've learned how to meditate, so I'm not laying in bed like I used to when I worked in corporate America, like, oh my God, tomorrow I have to do this, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do this. Yeah. But sometimes in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh my God, I have to get a new filter for my water filter. And I'm like, and then I forget it. It's like little things, but I mean, the upkeep, you know, of remembering all this stuff is, you know, I'm a household of one, and it's like,
pretty much.
Oh my God.
I mean, we have a household of two, but I'm the only one who's interested in that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Totally.
I find that next to my bed is great. If I think of something, I just write it down, even in the dark.
So true. In the dark. That's what I should start to do. I have a cute little pad there, but like a notepad, but I have no pen. So I'm always like, Amy, like all I have to do is walk 2 feet in there and put a pen in there, and I haven't done that yet. It's like 6 months. Oh, yeah, that's my list.
Well, so yeah, that'll be your next thing, is to get a pen. But I know that you do like a daily detox routine too. You were talking about a little bit. So I bet people would love to hear what are some of the things you do daily to keep with your detoxing.
Sure. So like a day, like you break it up a little bit. So what I do is like daily detox. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
So I do a lot of skin brushing. So I have a page of skin brushing on my website. So I do body brushing on my skin. I do lymphatic drainage on myself, on my lymph points. So I do that during the day. I meditate every morning. I'm trying to do that. And then one of the biggest things is my Epsom salt baths. And I bought myself a infrared sauna. So I do infrared saunas. I mean, when things were really bad, I was doing it twice a week. Now I've actually, it's kind of exhausting. Even though it helps with die-off completely. It's like, it's amazing what happens with my die-off. Like, I'll have a migraine so bad I can't even move. I get in it and I'm like, oh, it's amazing. Wow. But I probably do the infrared sauna maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. I mean, it's very hard on your body. You're losing so many fluids and minerals. So if you have adrenal fatigue, I mean, I definitely do not recommend it at all, because you can really hurt your adrenals. It's like doing hot yoga. I mean, it's very bad for your adrenals. So you have to make sure that your adrenals are healthy before you do any infrared saunas. So that's why I think
this is the kind of thing that a practitioner can really help you with. Because and I'm sorry, I do hear that echo too. But when I was in the throes of it, I was using an infrared sauna every day for about a month. So I didn't have that experience where it wasn't all that draining for me. It actually really helped me a lot. So
that's amazing. That means your adrenals are nice and healthy.
We didn't think they were at the time, but maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
So interesting.
I was on adrenal support though.
Probably helped. Yeah, I've been on so much adrenal support the last 10 years, so much ashwagandha that it totally screwed up my testosterone, which I never realized. So I stopped doing ashwagandha and actually stopped all my adaptogens because they were affecting other parts of my body. Like, I used to do a ton of milk thistle for my liver, and I stopped a lot of my supplements. I just do the basics now because I was on them for 10 years. I spent like $800 a month on supplements. None of them really helped me, and they ended up causing other issues. So I think you really just have to make sure you're working with a practitioner who's not just shoving supplements to you, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think it also depends on the level of toxicity and the candida. You know, some people feel okay just with dietary changes. Other people will supplement.
Yeah, I agree completely. And that's another thing, and Ricky, you've been through so much as well. And I think it really comes down, it's why I really don't read many magazines that you see on the shelves in food stores or in the bookstores anymore, because I feel like every magazine I look at is like, here's 20 snacks under 100 calories, or here's 10 ways to lose 30 pounds, or here's 10 new superfoods you must add every day. And it's like, even though those foods are healthy, like raw cacao, some of these, yeah, I'm sure that's healthy, but like some of us should not be eating that every day. I mean, a lot of these things, like, even maca powder screwed me up so much, and everyone's writing about maca powder, and I'm like, I thought it was delicious. I loved it. I did it for like 5 years, and now I'm like, oh my God, I stopped it, and everything kind of went back to its place, and it's just amazing. but I was listening to what everybody else was saying and what everyone else was doing, and I'm like, my body is so different, right?
Well, that's why I'm a real proponent of individualized medicine, right? So
Yeah,
it's really important that people realize that just because it worked for someone else doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
completely. It's so true, and I think that's the biggest thing to stress with all of this, and that's why you really need someone who understands. If you have Lyme disease or Candida, before you even get into the office, you need to make sure you get that doctor on the phone or their staff and say, does she or do they understand biofilm? Like, and do they understand those protocols? Because if they don't, it's going to be a waste of your time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's something really really big. But like I was telling Ricky before we got on the call, I mean, your recipes are incredible. They've helped so many of my clients, and your book is amazing. It really, really is wonderful. You're just such a wealth of information for everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So, I now I know everybody is dying to know, how are you doing today? How are you feeling now?
I'm good. I'm feeling really great. I see. In January, well, 2 years ago, all my hormones kind of plummeted, and they put me on progesterone cream, and they gave me progesterone toxicity, and I went off that in January, and I put on 50 pounds. 50. Went from like 100 to 150. So it's slowly coming off. I definitely don't look like myself, but
Like I said, you look great.
what's that?
As I told you before we got on the line, I think you look great. You look really healthy. So
Oh,
you're moving in the right direction.
thank you. Yeah, exactly. I know I'm moving in the right direction. So but otherwise I'm feeling good. I rest a lot, and I try to, I live in New York, so it can be crazy if I get involved with a lot, or there's events every night. There's things that even like just food events. I mean, it's not even like you're out dancing, drinking. That's not even my lifestyle. But I mean, you can get exhausted. I had to go downtown for a TV thing today, and it took 3 hours out of my day. I got home at 3 o'clock, and I was just like, I'm shot. Like, I need to go to bed early, and I had learned how to forgive myself and not get mad at myself and beat myself up for, and I've stopped looking at other blogs and other websites and what other people are doing, and not so much comparing myself, but being like, oh my God, I should be posting every week, or I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. And it's like, I can only do so much. I have enough money to like live under my roof and buy my organic food, and I'm healthy. And right now, you know what? That article can wait. That blog post can wait. Like, I just kind of put that out there, and I've started to just be more real with my readers and been like, this is my life. And
And I think that's so important. You're honoring what your body needs, and I think that is key, right, to getting better.
yeah, and I think I don't know. I know this is off topic, but I think for the last 10 years, I have been numb to my body, right? It's almost like every spiritual person I go to is like, you're not even in your body. Like, you are so far removed. And I'm just like, I had no hormones. I mean, everything was a mess. It was so, I just felt like this thing moving through life. I didn't really even understand what was going on. And the funny thing is, it's almost like I look at my illness as like it was a wake up call, because in my 20s I didn't even realize I wasn't feeling good, and now that I feel so good, I'm like, wow, I haven't put an Advil in my mouth or taken Mylanta or Pepto Bismol for my stomach aches in 6 years. I used to do that every week, and I think that's going to be like my next article that I'm going to start writing. Like, taking an Advil every week is not normal. Taking Mylanta every week, or some like taking Tums, like that is not, something is wrong.
Yeah.
But the
And
problem,
in our society, everybody is so used to that they think that's the norm, when in fact your body's not meant to be taking all these things all the time. Exactly.
no, it's like, and those acid blockers are creating more issues and leaky gut, and it's just
Crazy.
it's sad. Yeah. So I've actually started to learn to love my life and love myself and forgive myself for being chronically ill for 10 years. And if I'm tired at 5 o'clock, I'm just going to get into bed and put my little biomat on, which the biomat's amazing. I don't know if anyone has ever had a biomat, but they're wonderful. I sleep on mine every night for the last, oh gosh, it's probably been 2 years now. But it's like being in an infrared sauna. You're not sweating, you're heat, but it's hot, and you sleep on it every night, but it heats up your body and helps your immune system. And I go for walks, and I don't work out. You know, I used to go to the gym every day, and it was exhausting, and I hated it, or I thought it was what I should be doing. Now I'm so much happier. Like, I just do what I want to do, and I think that it really says something for yourself. You know this, Ricky. Like, when you're happy and you're not. I mean, I'm 32 years old. I'm single, and half my friends are married, having children, and I could be like, oh my God, is there anybody out there for me? Am I going to meet anyone? What if I never get married? And I'm just like, you know what? I know the universe, and whatever, is out there did this to me for a reason. I'm supposed to be helping people, and it will all happen. Right? It will all fall into place. And I think if we just start to trust and remove the fear of life and fear of foods and all these fears that we all have, these things, we just have to kind of trust that things fall into place. I know that's kind of like metaphysical and all
I hear you, because many of us, I'm working on that too, and I think it's a really important shift. So I'm so glad to hear that. And then, like I said, I think it was great. And I'm so glad you were here to share some of this tonight. I'm mindful of the time, but I would love you to tell all our viewers how they can find you, blog, social media. How can everybody find you?
Thank you. So my website is thehealthyapple.com, and I am The Healthy Apple on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, all that kind of fun stuff. And my book will be out March 1st. So if you just sign up for my newsletter, you'll get the updates and all of that. And
and the newsletter is on your blog, right?
What's that?
The sign up for the newsletter is on your blog.
Yep, it's right on the homepage, so you'll see it.
And what's the name of the book again?
The name of the book is Eating Clean.
Eating Clean by Amie Valpone. Pre-order on Amazon. It's going to be a great book.
Oh, thank you. I love you. I'm so grateful. I mean, I look back at all of this, and someone a few weeks ago in an interview said, it totally caught me off guard, and they said, if you go back 10 years ago, what path would you take? Would you take chronic illness, or would you take working at Vogue magazine, where I was 10 years ago in fashion? And I said, I have been through the hardest 10 years of probably my life. I'd never even thought I was going to make it out, but I would never, ever change what I've had happen to me, because my life is beautiful. I have people like you who live halfway across the country who I consider my best friends, and these people who I can actually connect with, and it's real, and we get each other, right? And I think that's a big part of it. A lot of people who have candida and these other things, you can't relate to other people. Your boyfriends or girlfriends or parents, no one understands that you can't eat these foods or do these things, and we all get it. So there's a huge group of us that totally understand, and I'm just grateful for having you in my life, Ricky.
Oh, thank you. Ditto too. And I feel the same way about, my candida. So many good things came out of it. Mm-hmm. And also, you wouldn't be the person you are today without those experiences, right?
Definitely, and helping other people.
Yeah, that's great. That's a beautiful note on for us to wrap up, I think.
Yes. Oh, and I have a Candida ebook coming out in the next few weeks, so that'll be up on my site.
Okay, so people can go to Amie's site for that. And thank you so much for chatting tonight. It was great to see you and to have this talk.
Thank you. I love you. Mwah. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Okay, bye.